So he's talking about being a great producer. Already has the question locked and loaded here from Gage. He said, "Are you guys worried about Rome with him already dealing with the hammy issue?" I think we touched on this earlier in the episode. I don't think so. I don't think any of us are concerned.
He's good.
Jack, you worried? I'm assuming.
No, I agree. I think it's not like he was sitting out of practice or had a brace on or a cast or crutches, whatever. Right.
Yeah, so that would be issues.
Exactly.
100%. Okay, we got King. I'm gonna say that's a King. I don't actually know your name on Twitter. No, that's for all of us. Ficky, biggest worry going into the season. Wow, I was trying not to think about negative stuff, but it's very easy, isn't it? Biggest worry. You know what? I'll put this. There are a lot of high expectations, which is not our fault, right now about this team. So obviously there is a realization that there could be injuries or Caleb doesn't live up to the mark, and this season is like dog shit. That is the worst case scenario. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that's what I'm worried about, but if there was something to make me pull out all my hair, it would be that. What about you guys? Like, what's your biggest concern?
Well, is it worry or concern?
Worry.
Okay, so for me, my biggest worry, because like how you word that, my biggest worry is an injury from to Caleb.
Yeah.
And I knock on wood. I don't know if that was loud for our Spotify listeners or podcasters. That would suck. It's like you could just deflate the season, and it's just like down the drain. Because this is his rookie year. There's a lot of excitement, like you said. Expectations are playoffs, in my opinion, and so I just hope he stays healthy. I'm cool if he misses a game or two, but like, don't give me that drastic. He's out for the season after week 3 or some shit. Because then it's like a long season.
But you don't want that Anthony Richardson treatment.
But you could have a really high first round pick, maybe. Well, Tyson Bagent, never mind. We're going to Super Bowl, so
yeah. Come on.
Anyway,
what about you, Jack?
Jack, what are you feeling? Biggest worry?
I would have said injury too. I mean, obviously injuries suck, but since Dave stole mine, I'll switch over to like. I would say, let's go with like a worst case scenario. Is could you imagine if after all this that pulls this built and like all this hype and stuff, we win 4 games? Or something like that, and it's just like
with no injuries too.
So awful. Yeah, right.
Yeah, just like they're just garbage.
Like this is the best we've ever had in a long time, and 4 wins. So that let's go with that.
That's everyone's healthy. We get 4 wins, Jack. That is probably a bit. That is
concerning. There is.
That sounds like some firings.
Yeah, everyone's gone at that.
Screw point. The stadium.
Yeah, like
we got bigger problems. Anyways, good question.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Philip here says, what does a successful season look like for Javon Dexter? I say that's kind of tough because defensive tackle does, like when they do their job sometimes, especially at 3-tech, you don't always see it on the stat sheet. So, wait, Jack, turn your internet off.
I think he was saying, like, don't manifest that in the world.
Oh, no, that's fair.
Or he hates me, one of the
two. Hopefully the first part.
Like,
man, D does not.
Or he can't like
it's one of the two.
No, that's fair. He's got a good point because that would be the worst.
But Javon Dexter, I think that's a really good question because you bring up a good point with defensive tackles. But I think for me, it's like if we see him in the back, like if you see him blowing stuff up, you hear his name throughout the broadcast, that's a successful season. You can go stats and, this many sacks or this many pressures, but it's like, if we are on a consistent basis seeing an impact, once or twice, a drive, and then you have, some wow moments where it pops off the screen and that, and then you'll start seeing, having a game plan for a guy like, that's making an impact that hopefully Javon Dexter does. But for me, it's like, you'll see it. You might not always see it, I should say, but as long as you hear his name, and you see the positive development, because you kind of saw it late last year.
Yeah, a little bit.
So for me, it's like build on that, and then hopefully the production comes. But for me, it's like just causing havoc back there, making people uncomfortable, making quarterbacks uncomfortable, disrupting in the middle of that line. We saw it firsthand with the Bears last couple of years with Justin Fields and how pressure, it can really be like, especially with Fields, it was terrible. Like you have a guy coming right up the middle after you snap the ball, like a second after, it's done. Yeah, you're basically throwing the white flag sometimes. And with Fields and how athletic he was, he kind of was able to kind of cover some of those flaws in the Bears offensive line last couple of years. So for me, if Javon Dexter can kind of do what other kind of defensive tackles have done to the Bears on a, not every single snap, of course, it's unrealistic, but just to see it more often than we did last year and more of what we saw down the stretch of the 2023 season. So that's really hard, but of course I'd love to see more sacks, more production always. But I think he was still third on pressures on the Bears defense. So
yeah, you just want him to be
pretty
kind
good
of
from
like,
rookie.
you want to walk away and have a good feeling, like gut feeling, like, okay, this guy is making plays enough to where we don't have to worry about signing or drafting his replacement. But Jack, what about you? Do you have anything in particular with Javon where it's like, oh, this is a successful season due to this?
Yeah, I like Dave's sort of just like seeing development. Like it's very clear when you can see development in a guy, especially someone on the line, because, like it depends on how many guys they're lining up against him, things like that. The thing for me, and it's a very personal thing for Javon with me, is we spent a second round pick on him in 23. And so I really, really you got to start showing something. And I know it's a sophomore season and things like that. But the reason it's personal for me is I was the biggest fan of John Michael Schmitz. I love the dude. And so I think a lot of Bears fans were sort of the same way. And we passed on him to go to tackle. And then yet still our only hole really on offense is the center position. Yeah. So it's like, that's why it's a little more personal for me. I hope that, again, just play better. Or
play better.
Yeah. For lack of a better
on a shirt.
God, Jack.
Yeah.
Play better, Javon.
I'm just saying, be better. But seriously, seeing some growth development. Maybe I love a good stat sheet. And so if I can see some pressure, sacks, tackle for losses, things like that, I would love to see that. But
that's be better. That's it.
Be better. Be better. That's simple.
Put on a shirt.
Absolutely. Jack, what we got next? Okay, D Burns with, hey Ficky, when is D Walk gonna show up to work? Wait, DeMarcus Walker, is he not? I don't think he's supposed to be showed up to work yet because it's just rookie OTAs. So I'm not. If you could clarify that, we'll definitely come back to that. I don't think
he's not there yet. He'll be there soon.
Yeah. Now if he's not there, we'll come. Like if it comes to mandatory and he's not there, then yes, you can definitely bring this back to me and we'll see why he wasn't there. But if you can give more context to that, we'll definitely come back to that. Daniel Hawkins said, Dave and Ficky, what do you think of Bears possibly picking up Calais Campbell? Dave talked about it. It could happen. Definitely a veteran presence. It wouldn't be the worst move, especially since we don't have like a very strong defense.
38 years old, though. I do like what he brings. He still had 39 pressures last year and like a handful of sacks. So I would probably still maybe run it back with Yannick. That's where I would be leaning. But
yeah. I mean, it's not the worst option. You probably wouldn't cost that much, but there might be some better options out there. I don't know. And then also, if we think about Booker, it's like, is he going to be taking a lot of reps from Booker, right? But again, maybe you want to put the best players out there. I don't know. That's definitely a polls decision.
No, but depth. I think depth. Either way, I think it just gets some depth. Because say you bring in Calais and he starts off, getting 60, 70% of the reps, right? Hopefully by the end of the season, he's down to 30, 40, and in a perfect world, you have Austin Booker who's showing signs of some life and some value to the roster on game day. So
spot on.
Good question.
Yeah, great question. And then we got one from Philip, who said, who will be the fifth leading receiver for the 2024, 2025 Chicago Bears? That's a tough one. Can I start this and say I think we all agreed that the order is the top three is going to be our top three receivers, and then Cole will probably be fourth. So who's fifth? Is it a receiver? Is it a running back? Is it another tight end?
Fifth leading receiver? Are we going?
Yeah, like
if you're honest, it's probably going to be a tight end after those three.
Yeah,
which would be Cole.
No, Cole I think will be four. I think the top three will probably. Yeah, and then fifth would be either Gerald Everett, DeAndre Swift. I think
it goes Swift fifth.
Like what? Probably like Swift gets like 300 to 400 yards receiving. Cole's going to have probably like 5 to 6. or more, right? And then I think DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and Keenan Allen are going to have somewhere around like 2,600, 2,700.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be my guess.
So, I mean, Swift had he had 39 receptions for 214 yards last year.
Okay.
So his most was in 2021. He had 452 yards. I mean, so he's been above 300 the last 3 years, but was at 214 last year. But the Eagles had a lot of weapons, but the Bears do too. So I could see it going Cole and then Swift. But yeah, sneaky one right there could be
Gerald Everett.
I don't know. Gerald Everett,
like 3.
maybe?
I mean, Cole would probably get less.
I would like to see Scott, but it's just like it's such a crowded. There's so many weapons. So
yeah.
Valus Jones it is. We all agree. Good stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
On to
last question. Let's get to our giveaways though.
Question. Yep. Last question from Gage again. Hey Dave, something Ficky and I were chatting about. Can you think of when the last time our offense has been this stacked?
Yeah, it's a good question. 2021 or 2022, Justin Fields' second sophomore season was N'Keal Harry and a bunch of dogs out there.
Yeah.
No, I would say the Cutler, Marshall, Jeffrey, Forte lineup was pretty electric. Just didn't have a defense that year. What 20?
I think they were top 5 in the NFL in offense.
They were dominant. But I know it's hot takey, but it's like I think this offense, if Caleb is the real deal and he catches, he has a Stroud type,
season
impact early. This could be nasty, right away. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I think we all should be. But again, I appreciate all the questions. Is that all, Jack?
Well, that's it.
All right, boys. Hey, Vicky. Okay.
Sorry, Forte said, "Please answer my question," but I'm not seeing it.
If you could, what a name!
Go ahead,
Forte. Forte.
I'll find it.
Okay.
That's a funny name though. I mean,
40.
YouTube don't come for us, but that is a very clever name to use. Bears players there, but But if you post it again, we'll go ahead and put it up there. But yeah, I think Devin Hester was a part of that team too. Like when he was kind of decently, he was doing some wide receiver at that point. So yeah, that's a pretty stacked team. This team could be better though. This, at least on paper, this team has the potential to be better, no doubt.